All the way back in 2016, I filmed my very first collection video in my traditional style, where I show each doll and tell you the backstory behind her. And that was my 60s, 70s, and 80s Barbie collection. Now in 2023, I am finally updating part of that video. I'm sorry, my cat is trying to get my attention. Excuse me. I got a lot of requests over the years to update some of my collection videos, but I usually like to wait until I have either enough new dolls or enough things have happened with my old dolls, like maybe they got upgraded outfits or upgraded bodies, whatever they need. So if you do watch my first video, you'll know that I did the 60s through the 80s. Today I'm just doing 60s and 70s because I just have too many 80s Barbies now. This does not include her friends or family, it's just Barbie herself. Some of these dolls, a lot of them, are in the incorrect outfits, and if you want to know what they're wearing, it's my Flickr, and that's where a lot of detailed information for these dolls can be found. The thing about this particular era of Barbies is that, especially with the 60s and the early 70s, Mattel repackaged the same dolls over and over and over again, recycled them for different fashions, and they also put out, like, say, Bubble Cut Barbie for a huge number of years with the same box date, but there were different, like, releases, so it can be very confusing. I tried to consolidate all of the info that I know about them from my own research and from books into my descriptions and stuff on Flickr to make it easier if you want to know, like, their box dates, their release dates, etc. I love each and every one of these dolls. They all mean so much to me, and I'm really happy to be able to share them with you all these years later. The new faces, the old faces, some of them got their outfits, which makes me so happy. I did make a few mistakes in my original video, not just in that collection video, in a lot of them actually, because sometimes you get more research later, and back in 2016, I didn't know quite as much about dolls. You're always learning and growing and evolving as a collector, so I have fixed some of my mistakes. So if you notice there's like a discrepancy between this video and the previous one, that is why. If you want to check out pictures of these dolls, read more information about them, feel free to look at my Flickr linked below. You do not need a Flickr to view any of my pictures. And without further ado, let's get to it. We have 3 Bubble Cut Barbies. They're box dated 1962, but these dolls were released for a very long span of time. The only ways you can really tell what year your doll was is if she has the side part or the smaller bouffant. Mine are like the most common, kind of the generic versions, you could say. So I have this redhead. She was my first. Her name is Bubbles, and she was actually my very first Barbie from the 1960s. She was a gift from a friend, a Christmas gift from a friend, in 2012, and I believe that she got her at a flea market for like $2 naked, and she had a bunch of like repainted details on her face, which made her paint look really globby. And I ended up just taking some rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, and I was able to wipe that off. And I just added hints of paint where hers had chipped. She does have like a huge crack in her neck and stuff, but I was so proud when I reunited her with this swimsuit. I believe in one of my episodes of Dolly Diaries, you can see when I got this. And she's actually how I learned about the stain removal treatment, because she got green ear because I gave her handmade earrings, not knowing that she would get green ear in literally 2 or 3 months. I don't have that problem with any of my other dolls, just Barbies from the 60s. So this is my second lady. She is the blonde Bubble Cut. Her name is Kathy because we actually named her after the lady who rescued her. My sister had a friend from work who was helping her boyfriend clean out his attic, and there was this big box of his daughter's old Barbies, and they weren't from the 60s. Most of them were from like the late 80s, early 90s, but there were a few random 60s dolls peppered in the container because that's also where the swirl ponytail came from. And he was just going to throw them out because he was trying to clean the attic, and Kathy vouched for the dolls because she knew me and Colleen would want them. And we called this bin the Tortured Treasures lot. I did get one of these red swimsuits in the lot with the dolls, so I gave it to Kathy. the swirl ponytail over here, she's been rerouted. There was no body for her in the lot. A lot of work went into this doll, so I got her swimsuit later from the flea market in a little like mini lot I bought. I rerouted her at the same time as I rerouted my sister's straight leg skipper with red hair. It just so happened that they were both redheads, which is awesome. And I always wanted a swirl ponytail, which is why I went through great lengths to save her. I'll put some before pictures of her in this video so you can see like how scary she looked. But one of my very first Barbies as an adult collector was a reproduction swirl ponytail that my dad bought me at the flea market to put on display with my 60s Kens. So I really, really love her. I did skip over Bon Bon, but we did not forget her. She's the latest addition to my bubble cuts. She was actually a gift too. And someone sent her to me and my sister in a huge lot. I have a whole haul on my channel called the Mountains of Monsters lot, and she actually came with her swimsuit. How cool is that? She just needed a little bit of facial retouching, but her hair is like super nice for its age. I love her. And then we have my ponytail Barbie. She is one of the like newer ponytails. I believe she's number 5. I got her at a local thrift store. I want to say she was like $4. There's a transformation video of her too on my channel. And she was wearing her swimsuit with another piece layered over it. And I was so excited to get her. She's my first like regular ponytail Barbie. And her hair is also really soft and nice, unlike the kind of coarser feeling of the bubble cuts. We have my beautiful fashion queen Barbie. I got her at the flea market in the fall of 2022. Was in a bag with image, and the guy selling them only wanted $10 for the bag, and there was a bunch of clothes. And he's actually someone we've bought dolls from a lot over the years since I got into collecting. So since like 2011 we've bought dolls for him. So anytime he gets like random lots of doll clothes that he has trouble selling, he'll just like say, hey, I have something for you, and he'll give us a deal. So she's really cool, and she actually has the band on her head, which is missing from a lot of these dolls. Twist and turn Barbie. So she was just head when I got her. She was in a body donor lot I bought on eBay for this swirl ponytail. I got like a few different vintage bodies for like $30, and I happened to have her correct body at home already, so it worked out. And I really love these mod era dolls. Her skin did go really yellow with age, but I still think she's cute. And I got her at the very beginning of 2020, if you're wondering. Same with the Tortured Treasures dolls. Talking Barbie. You might be familiar with her if you watched my leg repair video. Ironically, one of her legs popped off while I was setting up for this video. But that's okay, I'm going to use epoxy glue this time instead of super glue, so we should be golden after that. I got her in 2014 at an indoor flea market. I was buying a Barbie Basics doll from a seller, and she told us that there were a bunch of dolls she had upstairs in like the storage area of this old mill. And we went up with her, and I got Talking PJ and Talking Barbie, and Colleen got a Stacy doll, and I want to say it was like $5 for all of them. It was a really good deal, and she's got beautiful face paint. She does not talk still. So then we have 3 different twists and turns. If you don't have their outfit, it can be really difficult to know which version you have because it's pretty much the same doll repackaged. So check out my Flickr if you want more detailed info, because I compiled all the information I could find from my own research and different collector books. So these 2 ladies were from the same seller. I got them in the fall of 2013. This woman had a Marie Osmond doll I really liked. So I always think of her as a Marie Osmond lady. But I actually only bought this brunette doll from her that week. She had a bunch of toys from the 60s and 70s. I bought her for $5, and I believe she was wearing the swimsuit. And then, when I saw her a few weeks later, she not only had the Marie doll I had been thinking about, along with 2 other Marie dolls I bought, but also this twist and turn Barbie, and she lowered the price to $3 each, and she knew what they were. Like, when I was talking to her, she knew exactly what the dolls were, and some of them had tags. I also got my Truly Scrumptious doll from her, complete with her outfit, for, again, like $3. So they were in stunning condition. These were some of my first, like, 60s finds in the wild, and I was just floored by their condition. Now the next two ladies, this is another twist and turn, and this is her proper swimsuit. And then this is Dramatic New Living Barbie. I got them together in the fall of 2015. They're one of my older hauls on my Flickr account before I had YouTube. We call it the 60s Barbie bin because there were a lot of late 60s Barbie clothes. Dolls were in amazing condition. Only the second talking PJ had her legs off, so they have beautiful face paint, and I was just so excited to find Barbies from this era at the flea market with like pristine looking clothes. They even had like the pamphlets that came with the dolls and fashion packs included. There's a haul photo on my Flickr if you're curious. Some of the OGs in my collection. And now we're on to the many, many, many Sunset Malibu dolls. So just to preface, these dolls were packaged many times over the years. I have it broken down on my Flickr. So there was the box dated 1970 doll, then they were box dated 1974, they were box dated 1975, but the outfit changed a couple times in these years too, and the doll was recycled for like Gold Medal Gymnast Barbie and Sun Valley Barbie. So if you don't have the outfit, you really don't know what your doll was originally sold as, unless they are made in Japan, like my one and only Aubrey over here. Then that means they are the blue swimsuit 1970 dated Malibu Barbie. So I don't really know what any of mine were except for her because I didn't get any of them with the swimsuits. So this was like one variation, the 74 swimsuit, but I didn't get those with my dolls. So I don't really know. You can call them whatever you want, really, if you get them and you have an outfit you want to mate with them. They are split up on Flickr. I call them 1970 and then 1974 just to divide the number of dolls. But again, I really don't know. So Aubrey and Allie here are my two favorites, and they were my childhood dolls. It was, I think, 2003 or 2004. I was at the Salvation Army with my dad, and they had these two cases of Barbies. Some of my very first 80s Barbies, like from the early 80s, were in one of the cases, and Aubrey and Allie were in another case, and it was $12 for the two cases. I was so excited because I knew that they were Malibu Barbies, and I had the Malibu Beach Bus that I got at the flea market for super cheap like some months before, so they were iconic to me. They actually got their names when I was older, not when I was a kid, and Allie has like waves in her hair that I've never been able to get out, but that's totally fine with me because they add to her personality. So then we have Ashton. I got her as an adult collector. I don't know if I think she was my third Malibu Barbie. I could be wrong. But I got her in my very early days as an adult doll collector. She was at this indoor flea market we went to a lot when I was a kid. She was on the wrong body, and she was naked, if I'm not mistaken, but she was only $1. I ended up getting her this body when I got one of my other Malibu Barbies actually later on. And she's really pretty. Her hair is oxidized to this cool golden color. She's probably my third favorite. So then we have Augusta. She's my nicest of my Malibu Barbies. Like, check out that hair, man. It's beautiful. It's so thick and full. I got her from the, quote, Bratz Guy bin guy. If you're familiar with my Bratz collection, you'll know that story of how I got a few separately sold dolls from this guy, and he had a big box of mostly Bratz, and I wished I had bought it, and it took me like the whole rest of the flea market season to track him down again and get the remnants of the lot. But she was actually one of the dolls I hand-picked, and she was naked, so I got her for $1, and I was just really excited to find one in such nice condition. Aaliyah. I got her from the 70s bin, New Year's Day 2012. We went to a flea market with my dad, an indoor one, and there was this case of a lot of 70s Barbies. They were super junky, like there was a lot of body swapping, and the clothes needed a lot of repair. But I got my Malibu Francie, my sister got her Malibu Skipper, we got Movin' Ken, we got a bunch of like the Malibu dolls and other 70s ladies. And then this is Azalea. I bought her separately actually for $1 at the flea market, just because she was in a bin with really cheap Barbies and I recognized her. She's actually got the worst hair of the bunch, but we love her anyways. We have Acacia and Anastasia. I got them together. This was one of the more popular videos on my channel, the $5 bin bonanza transformation. The early flea market season of 2017, we found two $5 lots from different sellers of doll stuff. One was huge and had tons of dolls, and the other had these two ladies and my Sweet Rose's PJ for $5 with tons of clothes. And yeah, that's where I got them, and they're also in really beautiful shape. But these are not mold spots on her. Her skin just discolored, if you were concerned about that. And then we have Ashley, who is my newest one. I got her from the Mountains of Monsters lot, so she was a gift. I got her in the same lot as my bubble cut named Bon Bon. She has gorgeous hair. And you might notice she looks different. It's because she's a Taiwan May, and most of the others are all Korea except Aubrey, who's Japan. Her arms were broken off when I got her, and luckily both arms made the journey in the shipping boxes. It was my first time ever repairing arms, but it was actually really easy because she has an older style body. We have my Ballerina Barbie from childhood. I used to go on eBay a lot at my dad's work because we didn't have the internet at home until I was like well into high school. We were always behind on technology, in case you were wondering. I saw this lot that had Ballerina Cara and Ballerina Barbie, and I fell madly in love with them, so Dad let me get them as like a good report card thing in 2004. Barbie has always managed to stay in one piece and came with her outfit, but Cara's arms were off upon arrival, which is really sad. But I absolutely love her. She always makes me think of my dad. We have my two deluxe quick curl Barbies. So they were also part of the Mountains of Monsters lot. They were also a very generous gift, and you can see this one here even has her necklace. And I did have to flat iron their hair, which their quick curl feature is just wires, so you can flat iron them safely. Usually with like gimmick hair, you can't put a lot of heat on them because the hair is extra sensitive, but you can with these dolls. So this lady was just a head floating around the bin. This is actually one of those walking bodies. It was the closest thing I had to original. I happen to have two outfits for them in storage, so I reunited them with their outfits, which is awesome, and I'm really pleased with how they cleaned up. Colleen recognized them right away when we pulled them out because she is very familiar with this line because she is Skipper. 1975 Hawaiian Barbie ×2. Sorry, she's flashing you. They've both been rerouted. I do have the 1982 version. The only difference between them, if you get them naked and you don't have their outfits, is the country make. I know that my other doll has to be the later version because of her country make. I found that out after. There were a lot of boo-boos I made in my old collection videos that have since been rectified, so if you watch that and then watch this and you're confused, I hope that explains it. They were from the Mountains of Monsters lot 2, so they were a gift. So generous. Now when I got them, I'll put some pictures of what they looked like before. They had cut hair. Their hair fiber originally was horrible. Like, it was like Ballerina Barbies, but totally trashed. They were also missing a lot. And these dolls have such stunning faces, and I knew that they would be well worth rerouting. I have a soft spot for dolls from this era. I think they're gorgeous, and my sister picked really nice outfits for them. I know she's flashing you, but this looks really good on her. So then we have the 1975 Malibu Barbie. You can get them with either the Superstar head mold or the Stacy head mold. I did not get this outfit with her. The same facial screening was also reused later on for Sensational Malibu, if I'm not mistaken, and a few other things like the Malibu Beach Party, which is what I used to call her. Yeah, so she came from the Mountains of Monsters lot. I got her in this bin in 2014-ish, I think, at an indoor flea market. It was mostly a body donor lot. There was a lot of like completely gnarly dolls, but she was one of the nicest ones from the bin that I was able to preserve. And you'll note that they do have different eye dots, but I did double check, and this facial screening was in fact used on the 1975 Malibu Barbie. It's interesting. So generic and yet such a subtle difference. This one has really nice hair too. Now we're on to my mini superstars. Sorry, Cheyenne just wanted to take a nap. So we have Shayla, Shayna, Shailene, Cheyenne. Superstar Barbie was repackaged as a bride doll and as a roller skating Barbie from 1980. I did not get any of them except two with their outfits, so these three in the middle, who knows what they were. This is Shayla. She is my one of my most special dolls in my collection, and a story I've told a billion times on my channel, and the reason why I do not keep dolls boxed. I was 12, and I saw her at an indoor flea market. I had no clue she was one of the iconic Barbies from the 70s, but I really loved her distinctive look. I knew she was older, I loved her box art, and I couldn't stop thinking about her. So when I mentioned it to my dad later on, he brought me back to the flea market, and we bought her. So when I opened her up in the car, because I bought her to play with, because I was 12 at the time, her dress was fused onto her, and you can see the remnants of it. It looks a lot better than it used to, but I was so sad. I think I started to cry. My dad was actually able to somehow cut the dress off without damaging the doll or the dress, really. So that was back in 2004. She's box dated 76. She wasn't even quite 30 years old, and her dress had fused to her. So that is why I don't keep dolls in the box, because even though she had been kept well in the box, it's not like her box was dingy. I still actually have the box itself. That's what happens sometimes. So keep that in mind if you keep dolls boxed. That doesn't always mean that it preserves them, but if you want to keep them boxed, then that's fine too. Some people like me just like to open them. Shayna over here was my second doll. I actually bought her because she was dressed in a Camp Barbie outfit that I needed for one of my childhood Camp Barbies. She was $1, and I actually got her with my Malibu Barbie over there. And I happen to have a whole Superstar Barbie dress, boa and all. I think I even have the shoes in storage. I got that from the 70s bin, if I'm not mistaken. So it was just perfect because I reunited 2 dolls with their outfits. So then these 2 ladies, Shailene and Cheyenne, I got them together. This guy bought my dad's toy truck collection after he passed away. His name was Bob. And he had given me and my sister a big bag of dolls that he hadn't managed to sell at the flea market, because he set up the flea markets, which is why he wanted to buy my dad's truck collection. And we saw him at our flea market, actually, and he had more dolls, so he gave us and these 2 were in a case together, naked, with just a few random scraps of things. Cheyenne over here, she has cut hair. But, yeah, I was really excited to have 2 more Superstar Barbies, and I got them different outfits along the way. I remember I bought one of these at an antique store in a bag for a couple dollars, and I don't remember where the other one came from. And then this lady here, I could not help myself with Superstar Barbie gluttony. In 2015, someone at the flea market had a box, Busy Ken, and some Dawn dolls, and this beautiful Superstar who was wearing her whole outfit with the boa, as well as my kissing Barbie right here. And they were pretty inexpensive, so we did a bundle deal on the specific dolls we wanted, because the whole box was kind of expensive, but she is gorgeous. And I love how some of them have like darker brows and lighter brows. Then we have my 2 fashion photo Barbies. This one was actually my first lady. I got her in the quote-unquote Teresa Law of 2016, which is my very first official transformation video on this channel. It's called like Making Over 70 Flea Market Barbies or something. So the bin was mostly all Teresa dolls and like dolls from the 90s and early 2000s. She was an outlier. She was naked and really beat up, and she had that melting damage you often see on dolls from this era. So like, for instance, her legs pop off a lot because she has that sort of melting damage, and that's why my talking Barbie always falls apart. But I also think that she was intentionally mutilated, because I found what looked like scorch marks on her, which have nothing to do with that chemical reaction that takes place between the ABS plastic and the rubber. So yeah, she was a real labor of love to fix up, but she actually cleaned up wonderfully, and she looks fabulous in this fashion pack. And then in 2019, I believe it was opening day at the flea market, my sister and I found a case inside the building. It's mostly an outdoor flea market, but there is a little building, and once in a while we go in, and we saw an old Barbie case at the back, and we bought it because it had Superstar Ken and this very complete fashion photo Barbie. And you can see how like different their faces are. Sorry, they turn because of their photo taking mechanism. But this one's like got really strong, severe face paint, and this one's much fainter. We have Pretty Changes Barbie. I've had her since 2012. She was also part of the 70s bin we got on New Year's Day. She had her whole outfit, but the body she had was completely busted, and at the time I didn't do neck repair. I didn't know how to do that, so I ended up throwing out that body. And so the one she's on is not the right skin tone. It's like slightly newer, it doesn't have the tiny feet, and it's not pink enough. But she has like all of her little accessories and shoes too, which is super cool. and her hair is really beautiful. We have my two Sun Lovin' Malibu Barbies. My first one is this lady. I got her at the flea market separately, I think. I don't exactly remember. And what's interesting about her body is she has bend and snap legs. Most of the dolls with the tan lines from this line, in fact all the other ones in my collection, have straight non-bending legs like this Barbie over here. So it's a really easy way to tell them apart. Now, this gal, I got her in the Ken Suitcase bin of 2016, which in my second video ever on this channel, I show some of the dolls from that lot, and she's in really nice condition, and her paint is chipped too. But we have my three kissing Barbies. So this lady here and this lady here that's missing all of her face paint were my first and second kissing Barbies. They were from the same flea market, ironically, in almost the same exact place. She was naked in like a container full of McDonald's toys, and she cost 25 cents. And then this lady here, who I got a few weeks later, she was on a table in that same area, also naked, but she was really messed up. Someone forced her kissing mechanism so hard, they pushed on it so hard that it actually broke the button, and you can see how she looks like really puckered. Yeah, she's permanently in that position, and like it looked like they tried wiping off some of her face paint, so I had to like recreate half of this eye and eyebrow. She was just in a really sorry state. But I had a dress for her and everything. I also had her dress too. So I just had to rescue her even though I didn't need her. And then funnily enough, not long after that, I found this lady with her outfit in really great condition with like near perfect face paint and with really nice hair. From that same seller at the flea market, I got this Superstar Barbie. We have my two Royal Barbies, Royal England Barbies. This was my first one. I got her on Father's Day 2012, so it was my first Father's Day after my dad had passed away, and his best friend offered to take me and my sister to this huge outdoor flea market, and this Barbie was in a basket with one of my rocker Barbies that I ended up buying and some clothing scraps. Now, she's on a body donor because her body she came on, the hands were missing for some reason, but I found her this body, which is the right skin tone, just wrong country make, and she actually has really nice hair. And then this past flea market season in the fall of 2022, I found this lady who has her whole outfit, and I also have her shoes and her scepter and all of her paper accessories, because she was stuffed back inside her original box for $5. And when I first saw her, I was like afraid that she was gonna be expensive because I could see that she had her box. And I couldn't exactly tell how well the doll had aged because the whole front cellophane piece on her box had gone yellow. But she is perfect, and she has her outfit. My two Beauty Secrets Barbies. So I've had this girl here on the left for a really long time. I want to say I got her in 2014, maybe 2013. She was in a 90s Barbie case with one of my Hollywood hair Barbies named Tanya. And I was really excited because I knew she was Beauty Secrets Barbie, and I had her outfit at home. And she actually, her hand had fallen off, so I had to like cast it back on with some acrylic powder and liquid to hold it in place. So it's really lucky that she was in that Barbie case and that I bought the whole case, otherwise she wouldn't have a hand. And then this lovely, lovely lady next to her is also from the Mountains of Monsters lot, so she was a super, super, super generous gift, and both of her hands are fully intact, no damage to them whatsoever. And it was really cool because I had an outfit for her that she could use, and her hair is really nice. Yes, she's beautiful. And I did style her hair a little bit differently so I could tell them apart easily. And last but not least, we have my Hispanic Barbie. I got her from the Ken Suitcase bin as well. Now, you can tell she has cut hair, but it was long enough for me to like salvage. It's a little poofy right now because she was in a container. And her head was also like off the body, so she had like, you know, the fat head look where it's shoved down. the neck, so I had to fix that, and she was super grubby, but one of my favorite dolls from that lot. So I hope you enjoyed this updated collection video. I will try to get around to doing my 80s one sometime in the near future. It'll probably be in 2 parts because, again, I have a lot of them. If you want to see pictures of these dolls or read additional information about them, feel free to check out my Flickr linked below. You don't need a Flickr account to look at my stuff. And until next time, love your dolls, love yourself, and live your life.